What's happening there, guys, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. Elvis Presley is celebrated as the king and the one true iconoclast of rock and roll, the one who epitomized pop culture perfection. However, Elvis left a trail of disaster in his wake due to his ominous behavior throughout a turbulent personal life. He met his wife when she was 14. Elvis notoriously met his wife Priscilla when she was just 14 years old during his time in the army when he served in Germany in 1959. At the time, he was 24 years old. However, the illegality of their relationship didn't stop him from making advances. After he moved back to the United States, they wouldn't see each other face to face until 1962, but stayed in regular contact over the phone throughout this period before marrying when she was 22 in 1967. Throughout their relationship, Elvis remained promiscuous and was never exclusive to Priscilla, leading eventually to their divorce in 1973. That wasn't a one-off. Priscilla wasn't the only underage girl that Elvis reportedly became entangled with while he was at the height of his fame. He abused his power to manipulate young, impressionable fans wherever he went on tour. Joel Williamson, author of Elvis Presley: A Southern Life, claimed that 2 years before Elvis met his future wife, he took a group of three 14-year-old girls with him on tour who were up for pillow fights, tickling, kissing, and cuddling. Everywhere in Williamson's book, he claims that Presley had a 15-year-old girlfriend when he was 19 and that the singer was obsessed with virginity. He once fired a gunshot at his fiancée. Elvis was a manipulator who had extremely controlling streaks to his behavioral patterns, and he could get violent. He met Ginger Alden when she was 20 and he was 41 at the time. She was a pageant queen who he hoped to make his wife, but their relationship was problematic. His treatment of her was horrifying, and the pair constantly argued during their time together. After one row, he allegedly asked one of his aides to pop the tires on Alden's car so she couldn't leave his home, and on another occasion, when she drove away after a fight, it's claimed that he fired a gunshot. The couple were engaged to be married, but their tempestuous relationship never made it that far. He drugged Priscilla. It wasn't just Alden who he severely manipulated. Numerous reports have claimed that Elvis went as far as drugging Priscilla and spiking her with amphetamines and keep her awake through their mammoth sex sections. Allegedly, after being introduced to them in the army, Presley had grown addicted to the drugs and they later grabbed control of his life. During these drugged-up sex marathons with Priscilla, Elvis took photographs on a Polaroid camera, which he stored in a silver suitcase delivered to Priscilla after his death, years after their divorce. Allegations of racism. Earlier this year, Quincy Jones revealed that he always refused to work with Elvis because he was a racist. The superstar producer explained, "No, I wouldn't work with him. I was writing for orchestra leader Tommy Dorsey, oh god, back then in the 50s, and Elvis came in and Tommy said, I don't want to play with him. He was a racist mother. I'm gonna shut up now." Meanwhile, Public Enemy's Fight the Power includes the lyric, "Elvis was a hero to most, but he never meant Sate to me. Straight up racist that sucker was, simple and plain." While there's no concrete evidence that Elvis was a racist, he undeniably appropriated black culture and repackaged it to the public. The general public. The racism in American society allowed him to have such a fruitful career, and it was certainly something he leaned into consciously or subconsciously. Bonus fact. Colonel Tom Parker convinced Elvis to play Las Vegas to settle Parker's gambling debts. The connection isn't nearly as direct as the film implies, which presents Elvis's residency at the International Hotel as a way for Elvis's manager to settle his sizable gambling debts at the hotel's casino. Nash notes that Parker, played in the film by Tom Hanks, was an inveterate gambler dating back to his early years in the carnival business, often decamping for Hot Springs, Arkansas or Palm Springs, California to satisfy his needs. Once, he experienced Las Vegas that became a frequent stop for the promoter. That isn't to say that Parker's gambling and Elvis's Vegas shows aren't linked, she says. The Colonel was said to be worth $1 million a year to the International because of his gambling, according to one-time International executive Alex Schufe, Nash says. The rumor floated around town that Milton Prell, Schufe's old boss at the Sahara, had brokered the Elvis deal for the Colonel, getting money for the mob to put the deal together, Nash says. Mob involvement is suggested in the film. Elvis went into the army to avoid being jailed for indecency. Not true, Nash says. The colonel was delighted that Elvis was causing riots and grabbing headlines for being overly suggestive, she says. It's part of why he wanted him in the first place. Parker, ever the carny, knew what brought people in the big tent. After Elvis was drafted, Parker, whom Nash knows was an army deserter, worked with the Pentagon to ensure he'd be a regular soldier and not in the entertainment corps. He negotiated it as a PR move to make him appear to be the all-American boy, she says. Interestingly, when Elvis was stationed in Germany, he met future General Colin Powell, a lieutenant at the time. And with that, we end this video. There are simply far too many murky details that have come to light about Presley as a human, issues that can't be neglected, and the evidence of vitriolic behavior is insurmountable. All these stories combine to depict a monster and somebody we should avoid celebrating at all costs. The devilishly handsome charmer that paraded on stage in Vegas dressed in angelic white painted a heavenly perception of Elvis and deceived the public into falling